Once upon a time, nestled among rolling, whispering hills, lay a quiet village where a curious little girl named Aria lived. She was a child of the fields, her laughter echoing as she ran, her face turned up to the cool breeze. But Aria held a secret, a wonderful, magical secret. She could hear the wind talk. It wasn't just a rustle of leaves or a howl through the valley. For Aria, it was a voice. Every time the breeze swept past her ear, it whispered tales of the world beyond her little village. It told her of distant snow-capped mountains that touched the clouds, of hidden lakes that sparkled like 1,000 diamonds, and of stars that danced in the velvet night sky. Of course, no one believed her. Winds don't talk, silly girl. Her friends would giggle, shaking their heads, but Aria would just smile, a knowing, gentle smile. She knew what she heard was real. The wind was her friend, her storyteller, her confidant, and she cherished every secret it shared. One breezy afternoon, as golden sunlight dappled through the leaves of an ancient oak tree, Aria was playing in its shade. Suddenly, something caught her eye. A single silver feather, delicate and ethereal, floated down from the vast blue sky. It wasn't an ordinary feather. It glowed softly, shimmering with a light like captured moonlight. As Aria reached out and her small fingers brushed against its soft edge, a voice, as clear and melodic as a song, echoed in her mind. "Little one, I am Zephyr, the spirit of the wind. My feather holds great magic, but it must never ever fall into the hands of greed." Aria's eyes, wide with wonder, stared at the luminous feather. "Magic," she whispered, her voice barely a breath. "What kind of magic? What does it do?" "It can grant any wish," Zephyr's voice whispered back, a gentle current of air against her cheek. "But there is a condition. It will only work if the heart of the wisher is pure." Before Aria could ask another question, before she could even truly grasp the wonder of it all, the feather shimmered brightly and vanished, leaving behind nothing but a sprinkle of sparkling silver dust that danced in her palm for a moment, before disappearing into the air. That very night, a darkness descended upon the village. A colossal, churning cloud blotted out the moon and stars. This was no ordinary storm. It was a tempest woven from shadows and malevolence. It belonged to the Wind Collector, a sinister old sorcerer who had spent his life trapping the winds, caging them in enchanted jars to steal their power for his own dark purposes. Word had traveled on the currents. He hadn't yet captured word of Zephyr's feather and its incredible power. And now, he had come to claim it. His arrival was announced by a clap of thunder that shook the very foundations of the houses. His stormy voice boomed across the village square, filled with menace. "Whoever has the silver feather, bring it to me now. If you refuse, I shall silence the winds forever. No breeze will ever cool your brow. No gust will ever carry the scent of spring flowers again." Aria's heart pounded against her ribs like a trapped bird. She clutched the small hidden pouch where she had felt the feather reappear. She couldn't let him win. She couldn't let him steal the voice of the wind, her oldest and dearest friend. The world would be a dull, silent place without it. With a resolve that burned brighter than her fear, Aria knew what she had to do. She had to protect the feather. She had to save the winds. She decided to journey to Mount Aeolus, the legendary peak where Zephyr, the spirit of the wind, was said to reside. The mountain was a formidable challenge, its peak shrouded in thick fog and perpetual snow, its slopes steep and treacherous. But she was not alone. The wind itself became her guide, its gentle whispers encouraging her. "Trust yourself, Aria," it murmured, pushing her forward. "You are the chosen one." Her journey was filled with unexpected encounters. The Wind Collector's dark magic had left a trail of despair. She met a majestic hawk, his wings bound by invisible chains, unable to soar. She found a shy cloud sprite, weeping because his fluffy form had been turned to heavy, gray stone. She came across a laughing river spirit, its vibrant current now a stagnant, muddy trickle. The sorcerer's greed had touched every corner of this magical land. But Aria had the feather. One by one, she used its soft, silvery shimmer to break the wicked spells. As she freed the hawk, he gifted her a single, sharp crystal tear, a token of his gratitude. The cloud sprite, now light and airy again, gave her a delicate wing charm that hummed with a soft energy. And the river spirit, its laughter returning as its waters flowed freely once more, offered her a single, perfect drop of pure light. Each gift pulsed with a quiet magic of its own. Finally, after a long and arduous climb, Aria reached the summit of Mount Aeolus, and there he was. The Wind Collector stood waiting, his cloak a swirling vortex of shadow and storm. "Give me the feather, little girl," he growled, his voice a low rumble of thunder. "Or I will take your voice, just as I have taken so many others." But Aria was no longer the small, timid girl from the village. Her journey had filled her with courage. She stood tall, her small frame unyielding against the gale he summoned. "You can take my voice," she declared, her own voice ringing with newfound strength. "But you will never take the wind's freedom." She held the silver feather high. In that instant, it blazed with a brilliant light. The wind, her friend, answered her call. It roared in fury, no longer a whisper but a powerful, swirling cyclone of light and color that spiraled around her. The crystal tear, the wing charm, and the drop of light the gifts from her new friends began to glow intensely. They flew from her pouch, merging together, forming a shimmering shield of pure, concentrated air that pulsed with protective energy. The shield met the sorcerer's storm head-on. There was a deafening crash, a flash of blinding light, and then silence. The wind collector's storm shattered like glass. His shadowy form dissolved with a final, desperate cry. Blown away by the very winds he had sought to control, scattered into nothingness forever. As the last of the darkness faded, the sky cleared, revealing a canvas of brilliant blue. Zephyr's voice, now strong and free, filled the air, resonating from every peak and valley. "Brave Aria," the spirit sang, "because of your selfless courage and your kind heart, the winds are free once more." The silver feather, which had dimmed after the battle, floated gently back into her hand, now shining brighter and more beautifully than ever before. "Keep it, child," Zephyr's voice said softly. "It belongs with you now. And whenever you feel lost or alone, just hold it close and call the wind. I will always answer." Aria returned to her village, not just as the girl who could hear the wind, but as its hero. From that day forward, whenever a gentle breeze swept through the fields, rustling the leaves and carrying the sweet scent of flowers, the villagers would smile. They wouldn't call her silly anymore. Instead, they would look towards the hills and say with a fond warmth, "Listen, it's Aria, talking to her old friend again." And so, the story of Aria and the enchanted feather teaches us a simple, profound truth, that true magic isn't found in powerful spells or grand wishes, but in the quiet strength of kindness, the unwavering fire of courage, and in taking the time to listen to the quiet, wondrous voices that the world so often hides. Thank you so much for joining me on this adventure. If you enjoyed this story, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more magical tales. Until next time, listen closely to the world around you.